So as we were talking about data flow diagram, now we were talking about system analysis and design. We've discussed many topics, like we have discussed relationships, we have discussed indexing, we have discussed how ER diagrams been formed. So there are so many topics that we have discussed just to understand that how these specifications, how the documentation is done, how the specifications are written, how the data dictionary is being prepared, and what actually is the role of the documentation in software engineering, or whenever such type of roles are assigned to you, like you are maybe the team leader, or maybe you are a developer yourself. So it is very important that you understand that how the uh, documentation helps you in understanding, in getting you an idea that you know uh, how the software development is happening, what phases are coming first, what phases are coming next. Now, in the process, I'll be talking about some control specification today, and just try to understand what control specifications are. So, in that category, because we are continuously into that process, so the objective is that you understand the documentation part very well. When you are submitting your project, then your DFDs are properly prepared, and you are quite clear about your project, that okay, this is the step which I have done in zero, in first level, and in second level this is how I'm proceeding further. So let's talk about a few new things which are really new to you, and they are called HIPPO chart. Okay, and HIPPO chart is what? Hierarchical input process output chart. Okay, so what we do is, what are the strengths, why we do that? Whenever we use hippo chat, this is a hierarchical chat, just now, just like hierarchical data structures you have seen, similar kind of a thing is there. Now, what is the strength we have to understand? The strength is that it shows the functional relationship, right? And the weakness is that it does not show non-functional requirements, and uh, there is no checking mechanism also, other than the customer review, that it can actually assure that this eco chart is been drawn very well, it is okay. So that is the weakness. Okay, now let us see this structure. This is one structure of the hierarchical data structure, where you have the drugs. Drugs means the medicines that you have. Let's talk about, you have some of the medicines for any specific disease. Now, these medicines been written on the prescription by the doctor. Now, there are sometime it happens that some medicines you buy otherwise also. Do you buy any medicine without prescription? Yes? Yes or no? There are some few things like Gelusil, or maybe you take some antacids, right? Gasofast or antacid, Eno, these all come under medicine category, right? These are all medicines, but these are not such that you cannot buy without a prescription. You can easily buy without prescription. You go and buy that, or sometimes the analgesic tablets also you buy non on the without a prescription. So there can be the category. So this is how we represent. Now, as we move on to the hierarchical structure, now when we say that this is a hierarchical structure, so what is the difference between the hierarchical object hierarchy and the data structure hierarchy? um, the one thing which is quite clear here, that the thing which was written is that what? Medicine, drugs, and then bifurcated. Now, if you look at the data, there are no method. You only looking at the data, right? Now, there are no inputs, there are no outputs. Only is actually showcasing you the record, or maybe it can work well for the database models, but it is not very good for the implementation. So I'm giving you the knowledge of each and every part of the system analysis and design documentation, charts, and the techniques and the specifications that you will be using in the process. So I think this thing is clear to everybody. Yes. Okay,
Yes.
coming to another one, which is called analysis model. Analysis model, if we talk about, then it describes what the customer requirements are, and whenever we talk about that, so basic, uh, you can say the foundation for the creation of a software design is established using the analysis and design. And when I talk about that, then what actually I want to say is that it devises a set of requirements that can be validated once the software is built. Then afterwards you can actually check that out. Okay, now let us talk about the structured analysis one. When we do the analysis, now see, it is the analysis of the product that you are making. So the analysis of the product must be highly maintainable, especially if we talk about the software requirement specification. Then it should be highly maintainable, right? And the problem size must be such that it will be dealt with using the effective methods of the partitioning. The problem should be such that it can be solvable. There can be a solution for the problem, right? Now, another thing is graphics should be used whenever possible. So definitely we're talking about the documentation, we are talking about the presentation of the whole project that we are presenting. So the graphics should also be used whenever is possible. Hello? Yes, please keep yourself muted. Keep yourself muted. Who is this?
Che prepariamo?
Okay. So the graphics should be used whenever possible. Then you have to differentiate between the logical means which are very essential, and physical means implementation considerations. So you should be very well understand that what are the logical and the physical considerations of my project. So that should be very clear. Now, when we come to the structured analysis two, that is step two, then you have to find something to help with the requirement partitioning and document the partitioning before specification, and you have to devise a way to track and evaluate user interfaces. You can devise tools that describe logic and policy better than narrative text. So you can use a tool also which will be describing that this is what the logically we need. Now let's talk about the analysis model element one. So when we talk about analysis model one, element one, then as we all have done that, why you might be wondering that why, ma'am, you were teaching DFD, why you are teaching ER, why you are teaching such and such method, because this is how you will be analyzing the whole project model. This is how you'll be representing to the customer, to the developer, to your team that this is how we are going to develop. And you are keeping the record also of everything whatsoever you are doing in the process. So that is very important. So let's talk about data dictionaries. We have already discussed that data dictionaries contains the description of all the data objects which are consumed or produced by the software. So one thing is what data dictionary that we're using. Another thing that we'll be using is the entity relationship diagram, which is in short we call ERD. Now, when we talk about entity relationship diagram, they depict a relationship between the data objects, and we have talked about relationships like one to one to many, and we have seen that how the databases are connected to each other. Because definitely we are actually designing our whole project. Now, in the project, there will be data stores, which are called files. There will be entities, right? There will be processes. So we have to do justice to each and every part element of the project that we are depicting using these things, right? Another thing is DFD. DFD what? Data flow diagram, which indicate how data are transformed and how it moves through the system, and also it depicts the functions that transform the data flow. Another thing is that the function we represent in DFD using a process, using the specification. So process specification we use and we uh, discuss. Now, another question comes here that we have data dictionary, and data dictionary keeps everything about it is everything about data is written in the data dictionary. So what is that everything that we write? Okay, what is the entry that we do? Okay, so here there is one example that what we do and how we do it. So first thing is that we write down the name. What we enter in the data dictionary, we enter the primary name for each data or control item, data store, or external entity. We write down the name of each and everything: data, data store, external entry, entities, etc. Then what we write? We write alias. Alias means alternate names for each data object. We write down alternate names for each data object. Next thing, what we do, we write down where used and how it is being used. So in data dictionary, we will be listing the process that use the data or the control item. And we will also be writing that how these things being used. That also will be mentioned, which means that which input you're using to process, which means which output from process you're getting, which process you're getting the output, what is that you're using as a data store, and where is the or external entity, what is the name of the external entity which you are using it. So these all entries should go where? Into the data dictionary. Is this thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Number two thing that we will be looking into it is that the content description. Content description means we will be putting up the notation for representing content. Supplementary information means we can give the default values will be such, we can give the restriction, these will be the restrictions, these will be the limitations, whatever information we want to, additional information you may say, we want to add there, we want to write there, that also will be provided as a what you call supplementary information. Okay, now this is how your entity relationship diagrams looks like. Okay, we have discussed. I will not be going into the detail, but just I'll be touching all the points so that you can one more time review everything, that why these specifications we were learning and what now is the use of all these specifications. So coming to the data modeling element. So in data modeling element, what we require? We require data object, we require attribute, we require relationship. Now in data object, as we talk about, data object can be any person, organization, device, software product, sorry, that produces and consumes the information. Let's talk about the attributes. Attributes can be name, data object instance, which describes its characteristics, or it makes reference to another data object. So attributes can be there. Coming to the relationships, so it indicates the manner in which data objects are connected to each other. So I think this thing already been clear. Again, I'm repeating for you. Now, Aditya, can you tell me what is cardinality? I have given you many times this example also. So the difference between cardinality and modality, again, I'm repeating for you. What is cardinality? Have you understood the cardinality? Yes, please. Aditya? Hello, am I audible? Hello? Neha? Ranjan, Neha, Saloni, खुशी.
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम आ रही आवाज में।
भाई आप कुछ सुन रहे हैं? मैं आपसे कुछ पूछ रही हूँ.
Yes, ma'am.
Be active in the class. हाँ जी, कार्डिनैलिटी क्या है? रंजन पढ़िए जरा. रंजन पढ़िए.
यस मैम। In data modeling, cardinality specifies
कार्डी
how the number
कार्डी
of
ओहो, एक मिनट, कार्डिनैट, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप इसको?
cardinality,
कार्डिनैलिटी, कार्डिनल बोलो पहले, कार्डिनैलिटी।
cardinality
हाँ, एंड मोडालिटी। चलिए।
specifies so the number of occurrences of one object are related to the number of occurrences of another object. Zero semicolon
1 to 1,
one
मतलब
one
कार्डिनैलिटी कैन बी 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to
and one to
many,
one.
many to many, many to many भाई, है ना? ठीक है। अच्छा, modality is 0 for an optional object relationship and modality can be 1 for mandatory relationship. So the cardinality and modality is being expressed like this. I have taken this in the previous class also. Okay. Now when creating entity relationship diagram, uh, how we create entity relationship diagram. Whenever we begin, the customer should ask to list things that applications address. Now these things evolve into objects, output objects, and external entities. So the analyst and the customer defines connection between these different objects, and one or more object relationship pair is created for each connection. This thing is clear to everybody?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So when we create entity relationship diagram, cardinality and modality are determined for the object relationship pair, and attributes of each entity are defined, and ERD is reviewed and then again refined. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि entity relationship diagram perfect नहीं हो सकता, इसमें हमेशा इम्प्रूवमेंट की स्पेस होती है, इसमें हमेशा इम्प्रूवमेंट की गुंजाइश होती है। आप इसको और बेहतर बना सकते हैं। तो हमेशा ईआरडी को हम रिव्यू करते हैं, रिफाइन करते हैं, फिर इसमें कुछ चेंजेस की जरूरत होती है तो हम वो चेंजेस को करते हैं। ठीक है। अब आता है नॉर्मलाइजेशन रूल्स। नाउ नॉर्मलाइजेशन रूल्स की जब हम बात करते हैं तो हम यहाँ देखते हैं कि if given instance of an object has one value for an attribute represent elementary item, and when more than one attribute is used to identify an object, make sure they describe the same key. I think ये normalization rules आपने previous class में भी पढ़े होंगे, हाँ या नहीं? प्राइमरी की, सेकेंडरी की, या कैंडिडेट की, कॉम्पोजिट की, आपने बहुत सारे कीज भी पढ़े हैं। यस। So all
Yes, ma'am.
non-ID attributes represent the same characteristics of instance named by key. All non-ID attributes represent the same characteristics of instance named by key. Characteristics will remain same, but why we have chosen a particular attribute as a key? Because it is what? It is having a distinct value. This value cannot be you know, duplicated. So we have chosen that as a key. Now coming to the diagram. Now as we say data flow diagram, how we represent and how we present it into the data flow diagram. So input, as you can see, we have boxes. We show output by arrow, and then we define that this is my computer-based system. Rectangle, information producer or consumers being depicted there. Oval shape is the software element that transforms into. Arrow means data item, and information repository is not shown here. You know that we actually draw that on open-ended box, right? So that is what the data store that we show. Right now it is not being shown here. Coming to the first level, or the functional modeling, when we begin the functional modeling, then we have to think about that what are we going to depict. Number one, we are going to depict the external entities. Number two, we are going to depict the processes, or we are going to depict the transforms, or you can say what transforms the data. So we call that a process. So that process has to be depicted. Then different data items also depicted, and the data stores depicted. Now, DFD cannot show procedural details like loops, conditions. You cannot write down for loop. No, you cannot write. You just can say that this number has been repeated, or repeatedly this is running, but you cannot give a loop over there. You can't write that. Or you can say that this is transformed into this, but you cannot write the conditional statements or loop. DFDs only show the flow of data through the software system. I think many a times now this thing has been repeated. There should not be any mistake in the exam. I think so, right? Okay. Now coming to the functional modeling part. Now refinement from one DFD level. We know that the context diagram that we make to the next level should approximately is the ratio of 1 to 5, and this ratio reduces as the refinement proceeds. And to model real-time systems, structured analysis notations must be available for time, continuous data, and even processing. So this is very, very much important input for you. Again, repeating that when we come to the level 0 data flow diagram, so it should depict the system as a bubble, right? And there is an abstraction, complete abstraction. Second, primary input and output should be carefully noted. As you understand that, whatever you will be depicting in the first DFD, all inputs that you're depicting in the first level diagram. Now, the same kind of an input will be in the second and the third. You cannot change it. But, in the context diagram, you're showing something else. You're showing 5 inputs and then you're reducing it to 4 input. That's not possible. So that you should take care of. Now, refinement should begin by consolidating for representation at the next level. So there can be candidate processes, data objects, data stores to be represented at the next level, and you have to label all the arrows with the meaningful names. Coming to the information flow, which must be maintained from one level to another level, and you can keep refining one bubble at a time, and then you can write down the specification for each bubble into the DFD, and mini specification or a small note you can write down in English, and another natural language you can write down, or you can write down in some programming design language also, that is also permissible, but no loops, please. Okay. Hmm. Now, this is what the DFD refinement is presented here. As you can see in the first one, you can see that one input is there and two outputs are there. Now, is this actually shows that it wants to break into smaller pieces. So what you were doing, you are going into the second one. If you see, then we are properly showcasing that this been divided into two processes and finally giving the output like this. So again, the DFD refinement, reviewal and refinement all the time happens, all the time it is possible. And, uh, you can't say that there isn't a room for the improvement. There is always be a room for the improvement. Okay. Now this is what we are depicting. Can you see this properly? I'm just increasing the size. If it is it visible now? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Please note down this one. Please note down this one, understand this one, what is happening, and please tell me also that this DFD is depicting something, and what is that something which it is depicting.
मैम शो नहीं हो रहा है.
Hello. So I think you have done. Neha, please can you tell me what is happening in this particular DFD? Can you tell me what do you understand by the DFD which is shown here? Yes, please. Ranjan, Neha, anyone who can tell me that what is happening in this particular diagram? बताएं। भाई चुप नहीं रहना है, आपको बोलना है। रंजन, ज्योति कुमारी, आदित्य, हेलो, am I audible to you? हेलो, am I audible? Okay, so I think you don't need any explanation. Okay, let's move to the next one. Let's move to the next one. This is your DFD number 1. You can note down. Next is your DFD number 2. So as we were moving towards levels 1 and 2, you see that the diagram is looking quite complex. But actually, if you see it properly, then it is just the elaboration of the processes that has been done here, and these detailed processes been depicted here in the level 2. Since the validation of the data is happening here, so level 1 and 2 are depicting you that this thing is okay. Have you noted down?
यस मैम।
आदित्य बीच में कहाँ चले गए थे? मैं आपको आवाज लगा रही हूँ। आदित्य, आदित्य।
मैंने मैसेज करा मैम, नेटवर्क इशू है मैम, बीच में आवाज कट रही है बहुत ज्यादा।
अच्छा अच्छा, तो चलिए बताइए इसमें डीएफडी में क्या डिपिक्ट हो रहा है। चलिए अब आप वापस आ गए हैं तो आपसे पूछ लेती हूँ। ये जो डीएफडी आप देख रहे हैं 0 लेवल, ये पार्ट नंबर एनालिसिस है पीएनए सिस्टम। तो क्या इसमें समझ में आ रहा है आपको, बताएं।
मैम यहाँ पे मैम हम रिजल्ट जो है मैम रिपोर्ट हो रहे हैं मैम टूल के द्वारा। हम डिस्प्ले मॉनिटर और फाइल पे रिपोर्ट हो रहे हैं मैम रिजल्ट्स।
हाँ, इसमें देखो
पहले
एक फाइल है।
पहले टेबल से स्टार्ट हो रहा है इसमें।
कहाँ से शुरू हो रहा है?
मैम टेबल से,
टेबल से
टेबल
शुरू
1
हो रहा है।
टेबल 2 इसमें।
अच्छा ठीक है, तो टेबल 1 एंड टेबल 2 ये सीएसवी फाइल्स हैं
यस मैम।
जिसमें
मैम यूजर ने
इंफॉर्मेशन है।
कमांड दिया और
हाँ
फिर टूल ने मैम उसको रिपोर्ट करा।
बिल्कुल। और अब दूसरा ये जो आपका आ गया सीएसवी फाइल क्रिएशन, तो यहाँ अगर आप ये करना चाहते हो तो स्प्रेडशीट इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पास आ जाती है, और आप यहाँ से ये जो फाइल है इस पार्ट नंबर एनालिसिस टूल में आप भेज रहे हैं। मॉनिटर पे डिस्प्ले होगी इसके थ्रू, पार्ट नंबर एनालिसिस टूल के थ्रू ये आपके मॉनिटर पे डिस्प्ले होगी। अगर आप कोई रिजल्ट फाइल में भेजना चाह रहे हैं तो ये नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस इसमें जाएगा, और अगर आप प्रिंट करना चाह रहे हैं तो ये सीधे प्रिंटर में जाएगा, विच इज अनदर प्रोसेस। ठीक है ना भाई? तो ये आपका लेवल 0 हो गया, जिसमें आपने बस इतना बताया कि ये रिपोर्ट रिजल्ट है, ये रिपोर्ट रिजल्ट है, इस तरह से ये दिखा दिया। जब आप 1 पे आएंगे, ये देखिए, अब जब 1 पे आएंगे तो यहाँ पे 1 पे ये क्या दिखा रहा है? 1 पे ये दिखा रहा है कि ये किस तरह से प्रिंट हो रहा है। यानी आपने जो डिलिमिटेड टेक्स्ट इंफॉर्मेशन भेजी है टेबल 1 टेबल 2 की, ये वैलिडेट हो रही है, और आफ्टर वैलिडेशन द रिजल्ट्स बीन सेंट टू प्रोसेस द रिपोर्ट, ठीक है, एंड देन फाइनली द रिपोर्ट्स बीन प्रिंटेड, और जो भी है आपका वो हो रहा है। यानी आपने उसको लेवल 1 पे लाया तो एक और उसकी थोड़ी डिस्क्रिप्शन आपको मिल जा रही है। 2 पे जैसे ही जा रहे हैं, द again the validations is specifically is telling you that where the all this is happening. जैसे make bill created by WK connector, then your table created, यहाँ पे भी इसकी एक फाइल है, relevant records are going, command pn data is going, so it is analyzing, it is classifying, then again it is sending the data is coming back from the data store, 2 data stores being, आप देखिए कितना सारा एलाबोरेशन है, ठीक है। सो दिस इज
Yes, ma'am.
हाउ लेवल 2 बीन डन। तो लेवल 2 में यू विल बी वैलिडेटिंग डेटा और उसको बहुत अच्छे से डिपिक्ट कर रहे हैं इसको, ठीक है, क्लियर है।
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
मेरे ख्याल से अब इतनी बार मैं बता चुकी हूँ कि कोई कंफ्यूजन होना नहीं चाहिए। ये देखिए लेवल 3 पे आ जाते हैं। लेवल 3 पे आएंगे तो अभी हम एक एक प्रोसेस पे काम कर रहे हैं। तो टेबल 1 पे अगर चलेंगे तो क्वेरी टेबल यूनिक पीएन, then we create table created T1, query result, and then relevant records being produced। ये जो टेबल थी उसपे जो आपने पूछा है उसके अकॉर्डिंगली रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर होंगे या होंगे, क्योंकि फर्स्ट में तो 0 में तो कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं था, एब्स्ट्रैक्शन है इसलिए। लेकिन जैसे जैसे लेवल्स बढ़ते जा रहे हैं आपकी डिटेल्स बढ़ते चले जा रहे हैं, ठीक है। Okay, now coming to the creating control flow diagram, beginning by stripping all the data flow arrows from the DFD, event solid arrows and control item dash arrows are added to the diagram। इसमें ऐसा ही हुआ है ना भाई, देखो ये कंट्रोल क्राइटेरिया और ये स्टोरिंग पीएन ये सब डैश डैश में है, ठीक है, और ये सॉलिड एरो में है, यही किया ना आपने, हाँ या नहीं।
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to, sorry, see this start. So events solid arrow, controls dash arrow to be added, and then you have to create the specification for each bubble to final CFD। It contains the state transition diagram also। तो आप यहाँ देखें, ये इस तरीके का स्टेट ट्रांजिशन डायग्राम अगर आपसे बनाने बोला जाता है तो आप स्टेट ट्रांजिशन स्टेट 1 से स्टेट 2 से स्टेट 3 से 4 लाइक दैट कैसे पहुंच रहा है। Coming to as state elements, ये देखिए, if you have to write down, then you will be writing like this। Well, this is not required as of as per your syllabus, but I have included so that you have some idea। Coming to the behavioral modeling, now state transition diagrams represent the system states and events that trigger state transitions। So state transition diagrams indicate actions and action taken as a consequence of a particular event। So state is any observable mode of behavior। इसको प्लीज ध्यान रखें ये स्टेटमेंट को। What is a state? Is a observable mode of behavior, and control flow diagrams can also be used to for the behavioral modeling। So what can you use? Control flow diagrams you can use for behavioral modeling। Okay, coming to the next, which is very important, that's called a decision table। Okay, and we design decision table, as you know, that we have to take decisions on the basis of the conditions and the actions, right? So now let us see, these are the conditions। Okay, so the condition is what, that S is not numeric, now it can be true, false, false, n, the level number n is less than equals to 1, so it can be true, it can be false। So all the conditions we'll be putting like this, and actions, what actions will be performed, like printing name prime number, printing n is not prime, printing some error message, printing hello, printing goodbye, uh, printing new value for the n, and just so these are the conditions and these are the actions। On the basis of these, you design the decision table। This thing is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Coming to another important table, which is called event table. Now, in event table, what we do, we actually draw all the events like event one, two, three, and so on. And we write down the mode. Mode is what? A presentation graphic, architectural design, programming, this and that. So if we are writing cross, means no action defined. If we are saying oh, then no state change or no action is happening. So this is how it is to be designed. And where there is some action, so action 8 is written, A2, then A3 written, A4 written, A1, A2, A3 is written. So where there is some yeah, action happening, then we are writing. But if there isn't any action or there isn't any state change, so we are writing, putting a zero, and for even for action we are writing cross or X. This thing is clear? Okay. Now coming to a very important thing, and which is quite new also, and which is quite what you call quite in topic. People are really learning, people are knowing, people are trying to do artificial intelligence, and all the models whatsoever they do, it's based on this. And you can say IoT, and there are so many topics which are related, and their results are also quite related to this. These are called Petri nets. Now, in Petri nets, as you see, there are sequential processes. Okay. Now, in sequential process, you see that there is process A, there is process S, and there are state A, event 1, event 2, event 3, and then state S, right? So, in first, uh, uh, you can say the state, it moves to there are three events to reach to state 3. Similarly, if you see the next diagram, there is one state A and the event 1, 2, 3, which actually are going for two states, which is S1 and S2. So these are the diagrams which are very, very much important, and still a lot of study is being happening on petrinets. I'll not be elaborating much here, but I definitely would like to give you some of the terminology so that you have an idea that what these things are all about, and you please study yourself and then come and ask me about, because this isn't in your syllabus, but I'm giving you so that you know, because this is new. This wasn't present earlier, but now this is new. So I thought that I should give you structured analysis and design technique phases. If you see, then in structured analysis, we have activity diagrams that we prepare, and then we combine it to for some activity network data diagrams. We combine it to form data networks, and as we talk about design techniques, so we use a data flow diagram, data dictionary, pseudo algorithm representation for control information, relational tables to indicate data element relations. Okay, so this is what we do. Okay, coming to essay activity diagram. So this is how the activity diagrams been created. As you can see, the inputs, controls, output, and mechanism all to be listed here. Okay. So, is there any question here, Aditya?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And similarly, the data diagram, you please note down these two diagrams, I think, activity diagram and this one. Note down this one. It's very easy to note down. Quickly, giving you 1 minute. This is activity diagram. Done? Check out the other one.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the data diagram. Draw this also. I hope you have noted down. Here is the just sharing you the syllabus because it is your midterm on 26th. So just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. It's opening. Just a minute. I'm showing you. Huh. हाँ, ये शेयर कर रही हूँ मैं आपसे, आप देखें जरा। ये विजिबल है तो बताइएगा। हाँ बेटा, ये दिख रहा है आपको सबको?
Yes,
हेलो।
ma'am.
हाँ, अब देखिए, ये आपका फर्स्ट यूनिट है, सिस्टम कॉन्सेप्ट। So we have done the system concept, element of system, physical abstract system, open closed system, man-made information system. We have done the system development life cycle. ठीक है? Then afterwards we have done the consideration for system planning. We have done for user requirement analysis and fact finding process techniques. Feasibility study भी हमने कर लिया है, ठीक है? Economic feasibility, system performance constraint, and identification of system objective, feasibility, cost benefit analysis, ये भी हमने कर लिया है, ठीक है? और हमने tools of system analysis भी कर लिया है। तो मैं आपको यूनिट 3 जो हमारा है, ठीक है, ये हमारा यूनिट 3 क्या है? टूल्स ऑफ सिस्टम एनालिसिस। ठीक है, ये मैं आपको यहाँ तक कराने वाली हूँ। ठीक है, इज इट ओके?
Yes, ma'am.
तो आपका यूनिट 3 का ये जो पार्ट है, टूल्स ऑफ सिस्टम एनालिसिस, यहाँ तक। तो आई विल बी कवरिंग मेजॉरिटी, आई विल बी कवरिंग 1 एंड दिस 2, ये फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड यूनिट। क्लियर है सबको? हेलो।
Yes, ma'am.
तो ये मैं चाहे तो मैं आपको ये भी कर देती हूँ, आप बता भी दीजिएगा सबको जो लोग नहीं आए हैं। ठीक है, तो ये मैं आपके ग्रुप पे अभी डाल दे रही हूँ। ठीक है, तो आई थिंक दिस थिंग इज क्लियर टू एवरीबॉडी कि क्या चीज क्या आपका कोर्स आने वाला है. सेम थिंग अप्लाइज टू डीपीएम ऑल्सो. ठीक है, 2 यूनिट्स इंटैक्ट, कंप्लीट 2 यूनिट्स प्लस सम पार्ट ऑफ यूनिट 3 जो भी है वो भी आने वाला है. ठीक है, ओके,
यस मैम.
क्लियर सबको? अच्छा, अभी आप लोगों का कॉलेज जो है 1 सितंबर से ओपन हो रहा है. तो सलोनी, नेहा, आर यू रेडी टू कम?
मैम.